Good morning and welcome to Community Conversations. I am the host that does the most, Miss Ebony J, and you are listening and watching 101.5, 1230 The Buzz, your talk station, 101.1 The Wiz, and 100.3 Cincy's R&B station. We are here for community conversations to discuss the problems happening in our community and how nonprofit organizations are helping make a difference. I have in here with me today, we'll be speaking with Miss Lisa Rocklin, who is the woman behind Women Writing for a Change. How you doing, beautiful?
Hi, thank you for having me on, Miss Ebony. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so glad to have you today. You know, it's so much going on with COVID. We have so many people dealing with so many different issues, and sometimes they just don't know how to get their feelings out. But you have an organization that helps us have a voice, helps us find our voice, and help us heal. So, can you tell us what Women Writing for a Change, what it is, and how it got started?
Sure. Women Writing for a Change is actually celebrating 30 years as a local nonprofit here
Yeah.
in Cincinnati, founded by an English teacher, Mary Pierce Brosmer, who is still a member of the writing community. And her inspiration behind founding the organization was that she felt that women and girls in society did not have a place necessarily where their voices were heard. And that's why she left teaching to start this organization. So our mission is to celebrate the individual voice, and that was founded on offering that space for women and girls. Over 30 years, we have grown to include all gender classes and both youth programming, summer camp opportunities. We do a lot of outreach work with organizations in Cincinnati, which we can talk about, and also adult classes. So that's what we do, and it's not writing in the sense that you're going to school, you will be graded. If you have any school memories of trauma regarding I'm not a writer, or I was told I'm not a writer, we're about writing as a tool for transformation and telling your own story. So if you have a story, and we all do, we have many, you're a writer.
So, how do people join the organization? Because you said you kind of have different age groups. So, how do you join?
So our home base is a beautiful 2-floor brick building in Silverton, on the corner of Montgomery and Plainfield Road. Um, Prior to COVID, that's where most of our programming was taking place. And if you've driven by and seen the beautiful mural across from High Grain Brewery, that's our building. Artworks Cincinnati and their student artists put that mural together for the village of Silverton a couple of years ago. So it's hard to miss us if you travel that route headed to Kenwood or heading into town on Montgomery Road. So that's where our programming, as far as classes that you can register for the building, occur. Um, since COVID has happened, we, like a lot of organizations, had to figure out a way to pivot and really figure out if we could do it successfully, because we didn't want to go virtual if people didn't have the meaningful kind of experience that they normally find when they come to our classes. So we did move to all virtual classes almost a year ago, I'm sorry to say,
I
since we're all
know.
in it. um, and we've had overall a really wonderful response, that people who, both returning writers and people that found us since COVID began, including people from all over the country who have the opportunity to join us that aren't in Cincinnati, that it's something that's really made a difference in their ability to make connections with people during this time of isolation.
Well,
So
tell me this, Miss Lee. So, what is the classes like? Like, what were they like before COVID, and like,
right.
what are they like now?
So the format of what we do is the same, but we've transferred it to virtual. So when you come to a class at Women Writing, um, you meet in a circle. We're equals, we're peers, and there's no I'm the teacher, so I'm in front, and you're the students. We're all there coming to listen to each other's stories and be as vulnerable as we're willing to be with our own stories, which can also be fiction and poetry. It does not, no, it's all by invitation, not obligation. So you're not required to put the deepest, darkest, most painful parts of your life out for the benefit of others. That's a choice you make as a writer with what you want to share. But we meet in a circle. We start with an opening poem that's often, typically by a contemporary writer, a living poet. We're all about staying away from the canon of dead white guy literature as much as we can. There are so many amazing writers, some of whom are in high school right now and are putting things out on social media every day. So it's really a wide range of poets, but we use that as the inspiration for writing prompts during the circle time for that session. So some words that were in that particular poem will be used to suggest writing prompts for you to go off and do some fast writing, 10 minutes where you're just trying to keep ahead of your inner critic and produce writing that's coming to you. And at the end of every circle, there's time and an invitation to share some or all of your writing with the circle. And rather than waiting for people to tell you, oh, that was really good, or I wish you would have changed this line, the only response that's requested is for us to offer readbacks to the folks in the circle. So whatever I read, the only thing I'll hear back are quotes that somebody jotted down from words that I said that either
Right.
hit their heart or their gut and resonated or was just the most beautiful line. And that's how you know you've been heard. We presume goodwill. The only way to make community is to come with an open heart, and that can be a challenge.
Yeah.
Um, so but that's part of the principles of what we're about and what we hope to achieve in every circle.
Now, how often do you all meet in the circle?
So classes are varied. We have one-off classes because everybody's got a different schedule, and um, we have one-off classes that might happen on a weekend or an evening. We have long-term series classes that can be 6 sessions up to 14 sessions over the course of 14 weeks, which
Okay.
are called core classes for people that have more time and want to make a commitment to their personal writing over a longer term. Um, right now we have youth Sunday writing circles where every other Sunday afternoon kids can join virtually. We're doing everything virtually and share writing with other young people from all over the city, because a lot of times, whether you're a young person or an adult, if you feel like you enjoy writing or journaling, you may have people in your life who love you and they just don't understand you. They're not writers, they don't get it, they feel uncomfortable hearing your writing. So when you come here, you've already got that part out of the way because you're meeting other writers at other places in their journey. So um, that's a great advantage to coming.
It's a safe place. And you're feeling that understanding. Most of the time we're writing for that understanding. We're trying to understand things and we're writing down our observations. So I think that's extremely important that we have a safe place of other people who are healing or this is their hobby, this is what they do, they're doing it just the way I am, so they appreciate it in that manner.
Right.
This is Community Conversations on 101.5, 1230 The Buzz, your talk station, 101.1 The Wiz, and 100.3 Cincy's R&B station. I'm Miss Ebony J, here talking with the queen, Miss Lisa Rocklin, about the organization Women Writing for a Change. This organization has been around for 30 years, and they have really, truly been making a difference with young people. Now, I know you have a different age target range in a variety of classes, but what type of classes do you specifically provide?
I didn't hear the last part of the question.
I said, what type of classes do you provide?
So the classes that we have where you can register as a personal writer, the Sunday youth classes, the individual one-off classes, like we have a memoir class coming in up in the spring, where if you've journaled a lot and told stories about your life in your personal writing, but you want to figure out how to turn that into something more structured, we have a class where you could learn the basics of doing that, writing memoir. We also have a series that's starting soon where it's a class where we're processing the grief that a lot of people have been feeling about all kinds of topics as Americans in the past year. And another class that we have coming up that is important work that we need to do based on the fact that we were founded by a white woman, and we have a lot of white people in our organization, but we are always seeking to have an abundance of writers from everywhere in Cincinnati. And so a couple of our facilitators who have done a lot of work with equity and diversity, we're doing a class right now called Women Writing About Whiteness and Anti-Racism. And they're using readings that are really calling women in to examine how we as a society and how we as individuals are maybe coming into some awareness, particularly for white writers, that will help move community forward and make all of our spaces more welcoming, inclusive. So there are just so many, both personal and cultural and some societal things that can happen through the writing circles.
What would you say has been your favorite part about the whole thing?
Well, I came to women writing as a high school English teacher who graded a lot of bad essays and wasn't writing for myself anymore because I just didn't have time. So this was a way for me to commit to making some time for my own writing. And as I went through women writing and also the leadership program with women writing, my love is working with the young people through the summer camps and through outreach circles that we do with Cincinnati Public Schools. We work with the Talbert House, Women Helping Women, several local organizations that are doing really good work. And I am always just blown away when I meet a young person who doesn't consider herself a writer, but she's always singing songs and she's always got lines in her mind, and she ends up turning that into something. You know, I meet this person in September, and being part of the writing circles, by May, this voice has come out and this strong story, and there's just this confidence and this ownership of, I do have a story to tell and I do have a way to express myself. And I'm just always so humbled by the power of young people when they find their voice. And I'm always jealous that I didn't have that. I wish there had been a place like that when I was young.
Yeah, I remember being in class, having I went to Hughes Center, and back in that time they had a program where they had communications they offered, and our
Mhm.
school project was, if you could start an organization, what would it be and why? And I wrote in my thing, for the essay, that I would start an organization that had a magazine or something where we could write poetry and
Yeah.
share and have our voices. And the teacher read it and she loved it so much that she actually allowed me to start the magazine for the campus and for the school. And so what happened there was people began to, that you never seen really before, engage, come out and start turning in work that they wanted to be in this magazine, because again they had a voice, and it's about having a safe place to go. I'm so
Mhm.
excited to hear about this organization, and I'm so glad we got a chance to connect, to have you come on, because I know there are so many people going through it right now who are dealing with so many different things. The grief
Right.
writing may help, the support group, the fact that we get to come around together and talk. I think that's totally amazing. And then you have classes, the writing classes. Who actually teaches the writing classes? How do you come up with the instructors?
So the instructors are primarily writers who have come through Women Writing for a Change, both adult and young people who at some point decided, I feel like I have more to contribute, not just as a writer, but as a leader. And we have leadership programming that we ask both adult and youth to complete so that they can not just hold a circle, but really hold the people in a way that respects everyone and is true to our values.
Yes.
So we offer that. And, we have 21-year-old college students who are leading circles with young people in the summer and on Sundays, who started at Women Writing in summer camp when they were 12. And they've just been with us, growing up with us. It's amazing.
I am so happy to hear about this organization. If somebody's in their car listening right now and maybe they want to join, maybe they want to come to a session, or maybe they want to volunteer and help out, how can they be a part?
Sure. So as far as our contact information, our website is womenwriting.org, and you'll see our current program offerings on the website. Of course, we're also on Facebook, Women Writing for a Change, and on Instagram at Women Writing Cincy. Women is plural. And I'll just mention that our upcoming community virtual event, our next one is actually February 20th, and it's our ninth celebration of V-Day, and V-Day stands for Standing Up Against Gender-Based Violence. We have a community reading that you can register to join as a listener. And we have 20 different writers from all generations, backgrounds, life experiences, who are going to read personal pieces, um, funny, brave, sad, um, all of the above. And that's on February 20th. And the proceeds for that event support writing circles that we do to offer support for survivors of gender based violence. So that's coming up really soon on February 20th. And it's virtual, so you can join us from wherever you are, including your
Yes.
pajamas, and from any city. Um, and it's an amazing night, and I know the readers feel so much love when other community members join in support by listening.
Tell us the website again, in case we want to go and get again, learn more and be a part
Yeah,
on February the 20th.
yeah. Womenwriting.org is the website, and you'll see a bright red and hot pink image for V-Day. It really is if you're interested in joining, and that's open to all gender. We will be, and our readers will be all gender. So we welcome everyone's attendance there to support that cause. And happy to answer any questions. There's a contact link if you're on the website and you have more questions. We're working out our summer camp schedule, figuring out if we're virtual or in person or both. And I do want to say that we also are very strongly in support of helping folks who need financial assistance, who are writers, but feel like I can't afford to have the luxury of going to a writing class. We offer financial scholarships for writers in need. So please don't let that be a barrier to checking us out.
Yes, please do go get more information. I'm so glad that you were able to come on. Please continue your efforts, your work. Somebody's life is going to be changed by this organization. You've already changed more than enough lives already. And we're just so glad again that you were able to take the time out to come over and come on by, Miss Lisa. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Miss Ebony. So very much appreciative of this opportunity.
For my listeners, if you want to learn more, please go on the website, rnbcincy.com, or you can go to their website, womenwriting.org, to get the details about how you can be a part. This is Community Conversations on 1230 The Buzz, your talk station on 101.5, 101.1 The Wiz, and 100.3 Cincy's R&B station. I'll be back with more community conversation after these messages. This is Community Conversations on 101.5 The Buzz, 1230 your talk station, 101.1 The Wiz, and 100.3 Cincy's R&B station. I am Miss Ebony J, the Queen of Queens, here on Community Conversations, where we come to talk about the problems happening in the community and how nonprofit organizations are helping to make a difference. And I have in here with me Miss Ruth Anna Woff to talk about her organization, Community Happens Here. How you doing, beautiful?
I am doing so wonderful. I'm so excited, and I'm a little nervous about that, about being on, but what a perfect show to be on, Community Conversation, since that's what our organization is all about, is sparking conversation.
Tell us, how did you get started with Community Happens Here? What made you want to found this organization?
I have lived in Pleasant Ridge for about 20 years and manor in this area, and I was extremely fortunate that my daughter Amelia could go to Pleasant Ridge Montessori, a neighborhood elementary school here in Pleasant Ridge, back in 2006, and I poured my heart and soul into creating a diverse, beautiful environment. And then when I watched those kids leave that school, I saw how Cincinnati resegregated along economic and racial lines. And that made me really, really sad. And then that made me angry. And then I said, I will make a place where that doesn't happen. And I found my own life that no matter how hard I was trying, I had a gap between me and mostly African-American people. We live in these silos where, you know, we might relate on one level, but not another. And I said, this cannot be. And I said, I will stand in the gap. I will go to the sidewalk. I will figure out some way to make community happen between people. And now for 5 years, I've been moving forward, doing those things little by little, activity by activity. And now I have a building and a place to really celebrate and be fully open and be really doing programming all the time.
I love it. So what is the purpose of the programming? Is it to connect the community together?
To connect across difference. So what I feel is that we live pleasantly side by side, but we nod and we walk past. We do not talk to each other. We have to start the first conversation. We need to break that glass that's this way. We sit in auditoriums and we look at somebody in front of us, but we don't talk to the person next to us.
Yeah.
And that I find I have a gift for starting that conversation. And I use hospitality to do that. And I use participatory activities that stop people, slow them down, get them doing something, and get them talking to each other. So my feeling is that if I could just start the first conversation, then we have something to go on.
Yes, I love that. Now, when you're talking about the activities, I know you created that shirt, right?
Yes, I did. And I call this cup by cup, one person at a time. And it's because we do something called radical sidewalk hospitality. The reason it's radical is because we go to the sidewalk with our little coffee cart, with our cups. We have cups and we have markers that can be baked later. So everyone picks a blank mug off the cart. They write something on it, and they always say, oh, I'm not an artist, I can't do it, or whatever. And I say, just say something, it doesn't matter. And then as they're standing there, they can't really do it standing up, so they sit down, but then there's another person sitting there, and I say, James, did you meet Ebony? Did you know Ebony went to Hughes? Oh, you went to Hughes too? Oh my goodness. Oh, you live down the street? She lives right down the street. Da, da, da. And then I step out of the triangle, and then they're talking. And then my dream is that Ebony and James look down the street and they say, oh, I know Carol. I know Devontae. I know Jacoby. I know someone. And they bring those so that we can start across these differences. Otherwise, we stay siloed. So every activity that we do, whether it be the cups, and that has the hospitality, whether we do art projects, they all have this common theme that slow down, stop for a moment, talk person to person to somebody you haven't known before, find out their name, then introduce them to another person, create a ripple effect.
Yes, that networking at its finest, right? Especially when you find out how you are connected, you see those similarities, right? And you really like, well, oh, let me introduce you to such and such. I think that's so important. For a long time, you could ask somebody some questions trying to learn something, and people are so private, they don't want to give you the information. But it's like, no, if you're in a better place, help me get there. If you know this and you know how to dabble a little bit, how did you make your heart like that? Share it with me and tell me that. I think that we have to break that stigma of we can't talk to each other. And you know what? Our social media, these cell phones are making it even more harder now to have conversations because everybody's just walking around like this, sitting around like this. No, let's talk.
And you know what's wonderful though is that we found each other with social media, but we don't have to stop with that. Now we are face to face. Now I see your beautiful face. I know you. I can say, oh, Ebony, did you know Xander? Have you met Xander? He has his own film company. I don't know if you know him, whatever. And we can talk that. But I need that to happen neighborhood by neighborhood, street by street. And we've got to have that start to truly happen across economic difference and racial difference. And we're frightened of each other for no reason. Like if I know your name when I'm walking down the street, you might have a hoodie on, who cares, right? I know, oh, you're Ebony or you're James or you're so-and-so. These are all people who come here, right? So I know you, you know me. You're not gonna be like, who's that white lady? She's gonna be mean to me or whatever. And we can act together that way by creating resiliency in our communities. And then when we hit problems in our community, we are better able to withstand them. We don't fracture into, that's my hope, that we will stop fracturing into slivers of humanity, but we can hold that net.
The stereotypes break us every time because we just constantly have this one idea of how somebody looks or something someone says, and it turns us off of the whole situation. But we have to get out of that because she's not me, I'm not her, he's not him. Everybody is different. And so I love what you're doing because, like you said, the community is one. We are one. But if we don't work together, if we don't communicate, if we don't step out of our comfort zone, nothing is going to change.
Step into and that's why I said it has to be on me to step to the sidewalk. And one thing I have that's really exciting that I hope you will get a chance to come experience is the cafe. I call it the 100 Ways to Pay Cafe. And the reason I say this is because charity in general has too much power relationship in it. If you're coming for something free, or if I'm coming to you for something free, I'm kind of like, help me, you know, like up to down. Whereas here, you come and you give some gift of your time, we have works here. Maybe you are a ukulele player, maybe you do beatbox, whatever. You come here, you do something, and in exchange for that, you get your cocoa or you get your coffee. If you ride the bus, you are doing a good deed for the community. So come in and have a cup of coffee on your way home. That to me is exchange of gifts. And also money is good. I mean, we all need some money, but there is a third way. It doesn't always have to be the market, and it doesn't have to be charity. So I have this space on Saturdays, 9 to 1, and Sundays, 11 to 3. We're teaching teens how to be baristas so that they will have skills. We teach entrepreneurship. So you're going to have to come and test it all out and talk to our teens and show how they can create from things in their mind. So I think that there should be 1,000, 1,000,000 ways to pay for a cup of coffee, to give gifts with each other back and forth, one by one, cup by cup. So that's why I'm obsessed with cups and hospitality and ways to slow us and talk and make a time and a place and a reason to talk to each other. If we engage our hands, we start engaging each other more easily.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay to touch. It's okay to say, you know, I love what you're doing. Like literally, I never thought of it in that way of course we know it builds bonding when you do things with like your brother or your aunt, right? But like you're thinking like a stranger, your organization are literally putting strangers together.
Yes.
Through small conversations and activities to get them to see each other in a different way. And I think that that's
I'm gonna write that down, putting strangers together.
Yeah. I mean, really, that's what it is, right? And again, like you said, the community it's all about the community. The community happens here.
I'm gonna listen. I'm glad that we're recording this because I'm gonna go back and make a transcript of everything you said because you really nailed it.
Yes, this is Community Conversations on 1230 The Buzz, your talk station, 101.5, 101.1 The Wiz, and 100.3 Cincy's R&B station. Here talking with Miss Ruth Annie Wuff, talking about her nonprofit organization, Community Happens Here, where she comes to get people in the community to connect with each other. My question is, Miss Ruth, how do you know what community you're going to go in? How do you decide?
That is a great question. And I'm starting where I live. I live in Pleasant Ridge. I've lived in Gulf Manor, Pleasant Ridge, Kennedy Heights for most of the time I've lived in Cincinnati since about 1988. And my heart is at Pleasant Ridge Montessori School. I'm very big on public schools. So I start here. I start in Pleasant Ridge because we are not an antagonistic place. We feel we're very diverse and we like that, but we need some help. And then my hope is to prove this model and go to other communities where we are living sort of side by side. Mount Healthy, Camp Washington, places that are not antagonistic necessarily, but kind of living in a tense side by side way. And we're going to go up to Kennedy Heights and, you know, just using the idea of the sidewalk as this neutral place where we can meet, not about religion, not around whether you're in public or community school or whatever, like, are you Montessori, are you not Montessori, are you nativity, you know, are you this, that, the other thing? Well, let's step out of those roles into human and start that conversation. So I think there are many great neighborhoods in Cincinnati. Unfortunately, Cincinnati is a very segregated city, and we're also segregated even street by street.
Correct.
And I started this in October 2016, before all this crazy. Now, I mean, we have seen we cannot deny, we knew it all along, but we have torn our society is torn apart. But I'm sewing it together, but not trying to pretend that it's pretty. I don't want it to be pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty. It needs to be real, and one piece of weird cloth and another piece of weird cloth and a conversation. So I'm hoping that what people will do is come learn the processes that we're developing, take that idea, it can even morph, but go to sidewalk hospitality in their street corner, in front of their community places, and replicate this process. That's my dream.
Yes, I love that. So everybody has a role. I'm in my neighborhood, but hey, let's start it in your neighborhood, and you start it in your neighborhood, and pretty soon we're outside having a ball, right?
Yep.
How have you been able to remodel the organization during this COVID-19 time?
Good, great question. So last summer, when COVID was real high, we used paper cups instead of our fancy, beautiful white mugs. But we still had the mugs on display, and we were just a lot more careful about how, like our artworks, we gave each person a little artwork to do in a Ziploc bag. And then we took those and we made them. So we had to be very careful, but we kept doing it. We kept being outside. We were very fortunate to have some police teen conversations in the fall. I was so avid that our teens must know their police officers, and their police officers must know our teens. We don't want these mistakes to happen. So we did that outside. We were, spread out. We have a lot of COVID protocols here at our community happens here, and we have smaller rooms like this little room that I'm in. After COVID will be a tutoring or a mentoring room. You might come and coach someone here, but right now we use it as a solo room. So that's just some of the ways. We open up the windows. See, I am in a building. I designed this building so that all the windows open. So it's slower. It has slowed my starting, but there's a blessing in that too, because sometimes you go faster than you can handle.
Correct.
So in a way, it's a blessing. It makes for an economic challenge, as you well know, that we don't have as much income coming in, but we're just working it.
Yeah, that has been the challenge for everybody this whole time. So all you can do is what you can and pivot as best you can.
We do things. We like to say every month we have a conversation that matters. So for example, this month we have online a man who wants to help families get outside. And he has a new company. He's a neighbor, and he has a new company that you'll go online and get his tent, and he'll come and set it up for you or help you find out where to go. So we try to have conversations around education or other things that matter. And then we gather entrepreneurs at least once a month. We're going to have a man who invented a board game and took it to market. So entrepreneurship, because of the joy of ideas and sharing resources, and then community conversations that matter, just like you. So I'm going to be coming after you to do a conversation that matters.
Yes, ma'am. That's what it's all about. Again, having those uncomfortable. I like to have those uncomfortable conversations. My daddy always said, keep it real with my daughter. My mama used to be like, no, you can't say that. She'd be like, no, we're going to keep it real. And that's what it's all about, being transparent. So that way we can get to the root. And we get to the root, then boom, we fix it. But if we don't get to the root and we keep talking around it, it's not going to be addressed.
It's one of the parts where that's been my personal journey. You can grow up as a, let's just say it out loud, white liberal art, liberal college educated, I'm a lawyer, and I'm but I'm not racist, I'm not this, I'm not that. Well, God darn it, get your ass out onto the street and read real people, confront all of your biases every moment. Yes. Who is this new person? And my life has been enriched so much because of that. My daughter went to a public school that was for many, most like 99% African American for the first few years she was there. It was the best thing that could have happened to her. She has been formed by that. And correct. We must go to the uncomfortable places and stay there and learn and listen. We have to let ourselves be comfortable. I think it's super important.
We definitely do. I am so glad that we had this conversation. I'm so glad you were able to come on. If somebody is listening and they want to be a part of the organization, tell them where they can go to volunteer or to donate. Do you have a website, any social media?
Yes, we do. We're on Facebook. You can find us at Community Happens Here or Here 6238. 6238 Montgomery is our address. We're right across the street from the library in Pleasant Ridge, right on Montgomery Road. And our website is www.communityhappenshere.org. And the here is not a place, it's you and me. That's the here I'm talking about. But it doesn't have, we keep saying the word community, but this is community. So we have to make it real. Anyhow, that's what I'm saying. Community Happens Here. And anybody can call or text me at 513-307-3640. My name is Ruth Ann Wolfe, W-O-L-F-E. And I'm Ruth Ann Wolfe at communityhappenshere.org. And just come and especially on Saturdays, drop into our beautiful cafe and hang out with us.
Thank you so much again, Ms. Ruth. I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you asking me. This is one of the most exciting things that has happened to me this whole year.
Well, let's kick it off the right way. If you ever need anything, have something else going on with the organization, want to do some collaboration, want to get together, just let me know, okay? I'll follow up with you and let you know when this interview will air. I definitely appreciate you.
Yes, and thank you so much.
No problem. This is Community Conversations on 1230 The Buzz, your talk station on 101.5, 100.3 Cincy's R&B station, and 101.1 The Wiz. If you would like to be a guest, shoot me an email, msebonyj@radio-1.com. See you next week. Boom, we're done.
It was okay?
Yes, you did great. You're so animated like me, so they're going to love it.
Now, is it going to be video too, or only?
So what I'm trying to do is not have it to where it just airs on the radio station on Sunday morning and then we don't have it again. So with the video part, I'm trying to work on getting it as an option. The people that I did last week, I literally edited their videos, but they're not exporting. So I'm still working on it. So I just wanted to have the footage. If everything comes together perfectly, then yes, you'll get an email with the video part. But if you don't get it, if we don't get the video part up, you'll still get an email with the audio that you can hear, and that'll be on the website as well.
Nice. Hey, I really appreciate it. And I hope you can come and visit us when you can.
You said Saturdays are the cafe times?
Yes, 9 to 1 or 11 to 3. And of course, I'm here during the week. And I can come visit you. I'd love to just have a minute to find out more about your media company. I mean, I'm sure that we need you to talk about how to use media, or, those are the things that our entrepreneurship people would really, really love to hear. So, we definitely need to get you on the calendar for one of our evening entrepreneurship Zoom calls.
Yes, I would love to. Will you want me to follow up with you next week and see what would be a good time for me to come by?
Yes, please. please.
Okay, I got you, beautiful. I will. Well, you have a good day. I have another interview right after this one. I'll talk to you soon.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.